Okay. So this is gonna be a little weird, guys. I don't know how I'm feeling about this already. Oops. So I can see my shit over there. Hello everybody, whoever we have so far. Apparently we have two. Maybe we have more because this thing isn't always accurate. Um, but yeah, what's weird is we don't have music today. Uh, and that is, like I said, it's already freaking me out. I don't like how quiet it is right now. So someone's gonna need to talk to me today. I gotta need to get stuff to react to so it's not deadly silent. The reason we don't have music today is because I realized, it took me a while to catch on to this. Um, so it's not almost. It seems like it doesn't matter where I get my music from. I'll always get a copyright strike from somewhere. I never use anything that doesn't claim. Hey, Mark. I never use anything that doesn't claim to be royalty free or whatever, but obviously things are marked wrong, or maybe the algorithm screws up sometimes, or whatever it is. So, what was happening originally is I was getting flagged when I would post the stuff on YouTube. Then I started using the YouTube sound library for my music instead, and that was good for YouTube. But I kept getting flagged on Twitter, where it would Twitch rather, where it would mute segments of the video. And at first I wasn't too concerned because it was only like a minute or two at a time. It wasn't usually that biggest deal if it went mute, if it muted out for a bit. But then I caught on after my stream on Thursday last week that all of that it wasn't publishing my stuff. I could stream, but then it wouldn't publish it afterwards, and it wasn't even letting me export it to YouTube anymore. So um, I'm gonna try to find a solution, an alternative, so that we don't have dead silent streams from now on. But I haven't had a chance to look into that yet. So no promises for next week either, or for next stream rather. But hopefully get that figured out soon. I'm thinking there might be a Twitch equivalent to what I was doing with the YouTube music. And maybe that'll be okay for Twitch, but maybe it won't be okay for YouTube. I might look into seeing if I can subscribe to something, maybe like a 5 alarm-esque thing or something, where I can just kind of have access to something for free reign or whatever. I don't know. I gotta look into it. Um, but yeah. So it's gonna be quiet. So Mark and whoever else we have and whoever else is coming, throw questions at me and stuff. Try to keep me talking so this doesn't get awkwardly quiet. Um, Probably not gonna be a crazy long stream tonight. I'm drawing Gambit, so let's draw Gambit, and we're gonna do a slightly different Gambit than what is the most well-known iteration of him. Not that different, really. I have this whole thing going, and I've been doing this gradually, so it's not like super obvious. I don't think to anybody, but I've been doing this. Although I might have talked about it on the stream before. But so far of the X-Men, I've drawn Wolverine, but as Weapon X. So before he was the Wolverine that we know. I've drawn Storm, but it was the 1980s all leather Mohawk Storm. I've drawn Rogue, but it was Savage Land Rogue, and now I'm drawing Gambit in a slightly different outfit that he wore kind of consistently ish for a while in the comics, but not his most famous look for sure. And what I'm working towards, I want to do like an alt version of all of the '90s X-Men team lineup, and eventually I'll do a big poster image. It's got the whole '90s animated series team, and with their classic costumes and everything that we know from that era. So that's my plan. I'll probably get there around sometime next year when I do the whole thing. So I still have so after Gambit tonight, I'll still have okay, I'm already having some issues with this. I'm almost wondering about drawing this sideways actually, because I have an idea for a pose, but it's a little bit wider. I don't know. Let's try to make it work in this orientation, but I might. You know what? Screw it. Let's do it in let's do horizontal. Let's do it landscape. Ah, let's start fresh page. So I don't feel like erasing. Fuck that. Adjust the camera too. We can get even closer now that we're doing it this way. If you guys want, I can hum the X-Men theme music the entire stream, so that we're to give us some music. I wonder if we'll get flagged. If I do it too well, we'll get flagged. But we can try. Let me know when you get annoyed. Hey, hey, other Mark. We have two Marks with us, and I just got another. Is that okay? I can actually see that now. This is Todd Hill subscribed, but subscribed on YouTube. So I figured that out, by the way. That's why I can hear it sometimes, but I'm not seeing it. It's only the Twitch ones that appear, but I still get notices for YouTube because I have YouTube technically connected to Streamlabs as well. What you did miss, Mark, though, was my other Mark. By the way, Dio, we'll call you, is how I'm having some music troubles with my Twitch account, so I have to be musicless until I find an alternative source of music. Because I thought I was using royalty free, but apparently depends on where it's being shown, and it's a whole thing. Yeah, it was kind of like it was. I was kind of aware of it for a while, and I was just sort of like living with it, where it would mute parts of my stream, where it kind of like assumed it was, and I think maybe some stuff was mislabeled as royalty free, or maybe it was making mistakes, or maybe a little bit of both and all that. But it was like, you know what? Hang on. But it was like whatever. It's only a little bit at a time. It's not the end of the world. And then I realized that it was actually not publishing my stuff after the live streams anymore, and it wouldn't even let me put it on YouTube anymore. It wouldn't let me export it. So I had to. I actually did post the last few once I caught it, but I had to do it by downloading it and doing it that way. And honestly, I might start doing that a bit more anyway, because there is some added benefits to doing it that way. But I was like, okay, yeah. So I gotta figure out exactly what I want to do or to get around that. Some people have suggested video game music to me, and I've been hearing that pretty much since I started, but I'm a little skeptical of that as well. I feel like maybe the Twitch algorithm doesn't pick up on it because it just thinks you're playing a game, which is kind of their whole bread and butter, right? But like, it's probably then gonna get flagged on YouTube. It's frustrating. I have a pose reference that I'm using for this, um, but I'm starting to think I might take more liberties with it than I intended to because I'm having mixed feelings. I feel like this doesn't quite have the energy that I want out of it. I think I need to exaggerate this a bit more. Let's try this again. I was saying earlier, I don't think this is going to be a super long stream tonight, but might be if I don't nail this pose quicker. So what are we up to tonight, guys? By the way, is Billy lurking? It's Billy's birthday today, so if Billy pops in, make sure to wish him a happy birthday. But maybe he's not going to be in because he's got birthday stuff going on. I don't know. He's probably working tonight. Are we X-Men fans, guys? just to wear in general, or do you have plans to wear that to a con or something, Mark? By the way, I'm gonna try to remember to call you Dio. By the way, since we have two Marks going right now. Are you editing, Mark, or are you still making your proxies? Original character? Actually, I'm gonna mess around with that hand. I just remembered. I have specific intentions for that hand, but I was looking at my reference a little too closely there. So I'm messing around with that a bit more. Okay, I'm not 100% sold on this yet, but this is coming. We're gonna make this one work. How was the G for G over the weekend for you, Dio? I kind of know how the event went on a whole, but as far as your for me, there's no. If you noticed, I was uh, part of a charity gaming stream over the weekend, and um, Mark is in the States actually, Dio, but took part from afar, streaming on his own channel. Yeah, it was a fun day. Okay, so we're gonna figuring out a bit of musculature here. Yeah, I was a little. I was putting on a brave face. I hadn't said anything yet until I realized other people had the same concerns. But I was definitely a little worried about that. And Brad's pretty far out from everybody too, so it's sort of like you worry like, okay, if we get out there and then it kind of happens, it's like, okay, we can leave, but then what's gonna happen? Yeah, it was a little freaky to think about. But like the forecast when the day actually came around was pretty sounded pretty safe, so it wasn't too much of a concern in the end. Okay, think I'm okay with this pose. Wondering about messing around with that head a bit more though. The angle of the head. Am I good with that? Maybe I'm good with that. I can't decide. I think I've asked this question before on the stream, probably when I was drawing Rogue. But do we have favorite X-Men characters? Mark, I think you might have said Nightcrawler last time. Am I remembering that right? Wolverine was always my favorite as a kid, but Gambit was kind of came in second typically, and then Rogue would be kind of. I think now I like Rogue more than I like Gambit, but as a kid it was more I was more Gambit than Rogue. Nice. The GIF that I used to promote to say I was going live on Twitter is him like when he was kind of like watching them talk about something or other, and he was like flipping the cards between his fingers. I always wanted to do that. I always thought that was the coolest thing when he did that in the show. It's ominous as shit in that because they're kind of. I think that's the one where Bishop wants to kill him because he thinks that he's gonna cause this assassination or whatever, and so they're trying to lead you to think that he might be evil. Really? Yeah, that I'm impressed. Color me impressed. Okay, let's try to make this work. I think I'm okay with this pose now. Give him the smug kind of smile. He's got to look like he's enjoying it, you know. Can never quite wrap my head around what the point of the thing that he wears over his head is. Hey, JC. We out here drawing, indeed, without music today, unfortunately. Anybody have any theories on the Gambit head sock? Okay. Where can you tell me about them? Where is it from? Is it something I subscribe to or? Oh wait, wait. So it's just like a video or a playlist that claims to be royalty free? Because that's what I used to use. It never works. Because that's what I always used to do. And I think those videos are typically mislabeled. So are you trying to set me up here, Mark? You narc? All right, we'll take a shot at it for today since we're dead silent at the moment. But it might not be an ongoing thing for us. Um, let's try it out. Let's see here. Thank you, Mark. I wonder though, will I get flagged if I don't include a link to Spotify myself? We'll find out. Stay tuned. Maybe I'll get arrested right here on the air. Do they arrest you for using copyrighted music? I don't actually know. Actually, weren't there stories back in like the Napster days of people actually getting arrested or for that? Wasn't there like a 15-year-old kid or something like made headlines because they got arrested for that? I feel like I remember that, but I could be wrong. So this scarf that I just drew on him, like that's a huge part of what made this particular Gambit look a bit more unique. Oh, well, I was already planning on that. We had a rule in Foundation for a while that said, when in doubt, blame JC. I remember we had a whole meeting about it, in fact. The rule is still theoretically in place. It's just that it would take a little bit more work to pull it off if legalities came in. So it's got a bit of an asterisk next to it now. Now that you're not there anymore, JC. But so yeah, this version of Gambit, I don't know if this was a for a specific purpose, this outfit, or if it was just whoever was doing the art at that time decided to kind of do their thing with it. I'm not really sure. Yes, clearly. Also, I didn't know you knew about the cyber attack, JC. Not that it's a problem that you knew, I just don't think I knew that. Or maybe the question should be, how do you know that, JC? I would take it as an honor myself. Some people go their whole lives without being blamed for cyber attacks and things. I don't know if you had this or not, but I'm gonna throw one of these in there. I mean, you just proved it. You don't even know how to spell off. Unless that's part of your ploy to throw us off the trail. So far so good. Do we have any of them with us today? Do we have any current foundation students with us today? Lurking? Show yourselves, you cowards! JC wants to know. Well, none that want to admit it anyway. Okay, here's a little bit of a nerd brag for you. Speaking of Gambit, I may or may not have the first appearance of Gambit on my wall, signed by Art Adams, who did the art for. I can't. He might have just done the cover for it. I can't remember. Gambit apparently is like he's like barely in it, but Adams was at Fan Expo a few years ago. It was before I was tabling at it, and I didn't know he was going to be there. He's one of my favorite artists, but I didn't know he was going to be there. So when I suddenly realized he was going to be there, I went to one of the comic vendors and was like, "Do you have anything by Art Adams?" And that's what they had. I don't think it's like super valuable or anything, but it's cool that I got it signed and stuff. Or maybe it is now that it's signed. I don't know. I don't think it was the MCU that screwed that. I mean, I think that was falling apart long before the Disney buyout, honestly. I was actually. I didn't really have a problem with him in the role necessarily, but I wasn't sure about doing a Gambit solo movie when, like, I don't know. I think there's room for a Gambit solo movie once he's been introduced, but also possible. Yeah. How is that even possible? Am I right? Although to Mark's point, we might have a few watching tonight that just don't want to be distracted and talking. The school is dealing with some technical issues at the moment, and it's affected a lot of people's ability to work and stuff. Well, it's not just the fact that they can't get Wi-Fi; they also have no access to the files that they've been working on for the past however long. So a lot of projects were already started or maybe even close to finished. I think I read that as well, JC, about Channing. I mean, I do feel bad for Channing in it. I don't know if I was skeptical about the movie would work, especially since considering what happened with Gambit in X-Men Origins. Although I guess Deadpool would have given some cause for optimism there, but hey Billy, happy birthday, Billy! Yeah, I always had a hard time with that as well, Dio. Like I kind of thought. I think he made a comment about him working on the accent, but it was kind of hard to picture. I like Channing Tatum in the right role, but it can be hard to Yeah, I always had a hard time picturing that. Appearance-wise, I see it, but attitude-wise, it was a little tough. Especially since Gambit's kind of cocky and stuff, and I feel like Channing's usually best when he's playing a bit of a goofball. I don't know. I remember in the cartoon, understandably so, Gambit's staff was always um, pretty flat in color and stuff, but in the toy that I had as a kid, he had all this like cybernetic shit on it, which I always thought was cool. Um, I think we're good. I think we can use this. All right, let's go. Let's ink it. Still taking guesses on whatever the hell the thing is he wears on his face. If anybody wants to take a shot at it. By the way, I am planning for color with this a bit. The intent is he's throwing some cards here, but I'm going to save that to do as an effect. And I want them to be separate from him, so they'll be digital. I don't think it is, because it's like a full-on. It's like it covers his. It doesn't hide any of his face, and it's got a hole in the top of it to let his hair out. So I don't think that's a balaclava. Is a faceless cowl a thing? I've never heard of such a thing. Why would somebody wear that? Why would someone invent that? Yeah, but why? But what purpose does it serve if it's not covering the face? Start making sense, JC. So, what does that have to do with anything? Everyone can relax. Gambit has returned. Ugh. What? Okay, then, okay, then forget about Gambit. What the fuck is a cowl for? We got another YouTube follow from B Borgie. It's probably because my Night Santa Went Crazy video is going crazy right now, as it does every December. Is that what it's supposed to be? But yeah, I get why you say that, though, deal. Like, that's definitely what it looks like. Or like an American Gladiator thing. Hey, Pow Block. How we doing? How we doing? Hello, Jello, and all that stuff. Are we an X-Men fan, Pow Block? Or at least a Gambit fan? A Gambit fan or an X-Men fan? This is Gambit from X-Men. Anytime I've ever attempted to do a Gambit impression, by the way, it's very quickly turned into Pepe Le Pew. With also the French guy from The Simpsons. Sally. How long I waited for this moment, so I would you run away with me, and together we will have brunch. It's not quite breakfast, it's not quite lunch, but you get a piece of cantaloupe on the side. Don't get quite as much as you would at lunch, but you get a good meal. Oops. Thank you, Pavlok. A half mempo. Okay. And is that a boxing face mask without the padding? Is that what that technically is, do you? Huh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Just because, just for the hell of it, or a specific reason why you wanted to do it on a pickle jar? Okay. Well, I could see that being, because Gambit does have, like, ninja's a strong word, but I mean, he flips around, he uses the staff. There's some ninja isms at play with Gambit. By the way, Gambit was wearing this scarf in the comics before hipsters were a thing. Gambit is a trendsetter. Anybody ever read any of the Ultimate X-Men comics? Yeah. Yeah. The Ultimate X-Men comics came out in early 2000s, 2002, 3, somewhere in there. For Marvel for a while had a thing called Marvel Dot Comics before webcomics was a thing, or digital comics before Comixology and all that. And it would be after they had kind of had their initial run in stores and stuff, but they would put them up for free. And so I got into Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men that way. And they were both really good. I liked X-Men the best, and their interpretation of Gambit, like as far as I read, because eventually they stopped doing the whole free comic thing, and I kind of fell off of it a bit. But as far as I read, Gambit kind of had a little side story. They did like a little 2 or 3 part story arc that introduced Gambit. But he wasn't a member of the team. They just kind of wanted to show him, and he was like homeless. He was living in like a abandoned subway car, I think, underground, and he was doing street magic. card tricks and stuff, and then he rescues a homeless girl, a little kid or something like that, and it was a pretty cool story actually. But I kept expecting it to end with him meeting Xavier or Cyclops or somebody, and it never happened. But I assume it eventually happened. I just hadn't gotten that far. Oh, hey, hey, Brad. I missed when you popped in there earlier. How we doing, Brad? Thanks, Pal Block. Have a good night. He's a little bit of both. He can be a French ninja and a master thief. Or, as it would say in the comic, thief. It would always skip the H in his dialogue, so it would be thief. Gambit is a thief. Hey, Cat. I'm assuming Cat isn't Katarina, am I right? Alright, alright. Remember I pictured you lounging outside, Brad, but... how we doing, Cat? Annika was on the other day. I think she said that you start film in the new year, right? I think, around the same time that she does concept art. How's post-foundation life been treating you? Nice. He was always one of my favorite as well, Brad. I think your Wolverine was the standard favorite, and Gambit was my second favorite. I think now Rogue might have Gambit beat, but when I was a kid, it was definitely Gambit. But he's still pretty high on my list. He's just so frickin' cool. Okay. It's hard not to love Wolverine. I mean, it's Wolverine. Okay, yeah, Beast is cool. I actually agree with that, Brad. I like the irony, too, of him being so beastly, but being so, like, soft-spoken and thoughtful and stuff as well. Kat, are you an X-Men fan at all? Ooh, cool. Well, good luck, Kat. I thought your project was really well done, Kat. I think you just, I mean, obviously you never know competition, and sometimes there's some bias and stuff, but I like to think you stand a pretty good chance there. Fair enough, Kat. Fair enough. When is that festival, Kat? And is it in Vancouver or is it elsewhere? Thanks, Cat. We have enough people in the chat at the moment that I feel like I need to tag every comment I have with the person I'm responding to. Okay, cool. This will be easily visited then if you get in. How is film stream going, by the way, Brad? I don't know if you heard, Kat, but there's some technical difficulties going on at the school right now. So there's panic in the hallways of VFS at the moment. I might fight you on that one, JC. Not that I'm knocking the other streams, but I gotta stand up for myself after all. No, not the. There's some sort of. I mean, none of us really know the full extent of it, but some sort of cyber incident, and everyone's locked out of their drives and can't connect to the network and all that stuff. So there's a lot of projects that people can't access and stuff, and they're working on it as we speak. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, film's the more stressful. Filming's the stressful part, right? Because you gotta actually be there and orchestrate and work with people and stuff. I don't know if he eventually grew out of it. If I had to guess, I'd say he probably did. But I think Steven Spielberg once said that he on the first day of every shoot he vomits, and like I gotta assume he's grown out of that at this point. But for a while, that was like a whole thing there. Thanks for the follow, Cat. No, classes are happening. We're just being creative about it. Like stuff that like the software-based stuff is happening online, so that people can use their home computers because they can't use the computers at the school. And extensions are being given for some of the deadlines and things like that. And some exceptions are being made, and some assignments kind of altered. There's one that I do that I switched to let people still be able to do it a bit more easily if they can't access stuff. Hopefully things get back to normal soon, maybe even by the end of this week, but nobody really knows. Yeah, we have somebody in term 6 that was uh, like they're doing animation, and they were there like every day working, got really far ahead. They had all the animation done. They were just kind of polishing some of the shots in the animation before they were going to edit it all together, and now she can't get at her stuff. Hellish. Yeah. I mean, she's not going to get any kind of penalized for it. It's not her fault, of course. It's just frustrating to be in that position. It's always JC's fault, Mark. You know this. It could be. I mean, it is like a virus, sort of, putting us on campus again, kind of. So, is anything that you need to get done, Brad, kind of like in purgatory right now, or like, do you have workarounds figured out, or do you have to redo things? Is it kind of a wait and see type situation? Where are you at? Yeah, somebody mentioned that today. Hopefully that's not the case, but or even if it is, hopefully they get it figured out without a bigger issue. Okay. So you can at least access everything you need to for your main deadlines there. Shikoya was saying that the film stream wasn't actually that impacted by it. I think some of your classes are a bit more practical, less digital. Yeah. What do you mean, Mark? Like they're not doing anything online, you mean, or they're like? Because I'm not surprised they're not working. They literally can't turn the computers on. Yeah, but all the VFS computers are down. Why is 3D surprise you? But again, that's the same thing for everything. None of the other programs have backups either. So okay, I haven't figured this out yet. I keep meaning to sit down with it, and I haven't yet. But for some reason, Twitch keeps censoring my chat. I'm obviously totally fine with swearing, so swear all you fucking want. But I can't see it in the chat. I'm getting 4 stars before VFS. So if you want me to actually be able to tell, you might need to like put spaces between the letters or something. Hi, Annika. Yeah, and then and once I tell that, everybody wants to just start fucking with me by putting whatever in the chat that I can't read. Enter Billy. Yeah, see, there we go. Okay. I see how it is. One day, one of you guys is going to do something really offensive, and I'm going to catch you because I'll finally figure it out why it's censoring. But I won't tell you, so you'll just think you get away with it. That's what's going to happen. Just wait and see. Although it's not censored for anybody else. I guess there's a little danger of that anyway. What, your last message got censored, Billy, yeah. That also got censored, yeah. Uh, if you, if you missed it, Brad, it's because for some reason my the app on my phone wants to censor everything in the chat. I don't know why. I'm Irish Canadian, so I think the same thing is true of me, Kat. Is that a shock? I mean, I'm not from Ireland. My dad's from Ireland. He moved to Canada when he was like 7, I think. Maybe 9, 7? I think 7. Doesn't have an accent or anything. But swears like you would expect an Irish Canadian construction worker to swear. Throws around the fucks like he's playing dodgeball with him. I mean, Dylan's a Celtic name as well. I mean, it's Welsh for ocean, and pretty sure it means the same thing in Celtic as well. Moore is actually an English name, though. What? Okay, Kat. Now I'm curious. What is the "oh, that's why"? I don't. I think my Irish blood has actually had very little influence on me, other than the fact that I can really hold my liquor. But other than that, I mean, I'm wearing a green shirt right now, but that's a coincidence, I promise. But apparently Annika is also Irish, so I don't know if this stuff is also true of me. Oh. I mean, I don't know if all of the Irish are the same person, but okay, I'll take that. Technically, thanks to this stream, Annika is the first person from your class I met, I think. You don't want to be Irish? Potato people. I did eat a lot of bangers and mash growing up, not gonna lie. That was definitely... Although ironically, my dad liked them least of all of us, the guy that's actually from Ireland. He's also not a fan of Irish beer. My dad drinks a lot of beer, but not into the Guinness and stuff. Or the whiskey. It was briefly into vodka though, so that's a Slav thing, right? Ironically. I like Guinness, but I would kind of, or I might actually agree with that somewhat. A lot of people do. I don't mind. Beer is, I mean, I'm not a huge drinker anyway. When the occasion calls for it, I usually do go for the beer, but whiskey is actually my my kryptonite, though. That's the one that I don't hold that well. So I don't know if my Irish blood failed me on that one. I don't know if I ever had Irish whiskey. Canadian whiskey, that has not gone well for me, just saying. Which is rye, by the way, for those of you keeping score. Canadian whiskey is rye. American whiskey is bourbon. Scottish whiskey is scotch. And Irish whiskey is pretty much just whiskey. I have a friend that got into Irish whiskey for a while, though, and he sent me a message. Props to your people on their whiskey making. JC, you know Danica? Well, what about me, JC? I sort of somewhat came out of Ireland. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, all right. That makes sense. Well, Annika was also in that class. Okay. Okay. Whoa. Points to Canada got a brewing and Letterkenny Donegal. That's what you find in Ireland. Speaking of Ireland, has anybody ever watched the Dairy Girls? Irish. It's pretty good. Newest season just dropped on Netflix. Dairy as in the city, not the farm. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Liam Neeson guest stars in a couple episodes in the newest season. He's a cop, and they got this like guy from the family that never shuts up to talk to him. And he just eventually says, "For the love of suffering Jesus." He tells everybody to leave. He says, "For the love of suffering Jesus, bring him with you." And I couldn't stop repeating that for a while after that. For the love of suffering Jesus. Yeah. Oh yeah. And did you like Wednesday, Annika, when it was all done? That's all you watch? I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once 3 times in the theater. And I haven't posted it yet, but I colored a drawing I did from that movie a couple months ago. Just the other day, actually. Colored it just the other day. Drew it a couple months ago. Yeah, Wednesday's really good. And so is Everything Everywhere All at Once. What are we talking about, Billy? Also, hey, Centane. I think it's more for single. Well, I mean, I'm not a single daughter, but I very much enjoyed the movie. But there might definitely be an added relevance to it. Oh, there you go. Well, I mean, the characters aren't necessarily all the most likable, but like part of the fun of it, honestly. But you do learn to love them. I didn't like them as much in the beginning. I liked them more as it went along, but thought they were funny the whole way through. Well, the chat is hopping tonight, huh? Alright, let's do the Sounds good, Centane. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that for sure. About everything everywhere all at once. I believe you, Dio. It's not. Like I said, I haven't had the best luck with whiskey. Like I said, it is definitely my kryptonite. The rowdiest I have ever gotten, and I'm not a rowdy drunk at all. I'm pretty much like this when I'm drunk, honestly. But whiskey has done it to me. County Clare, it's another brand. Almost finished watching Sandman, by the way. I've been digging that a lot too. I gotta get back to the comic. It's like I kind of remembered some of it as it was happening, and other parts I was just sort of like, was that in the comic? I don't remember if that was in the comic. I'm a pretty chill drunk. Okay. Um, but yeah, whiskey will get me a little loud and rowdy. So it's the one that seems to do it. I'm still not like an obnoxious drunk like some people get. Like I think I'm still okay to be around, but I'll be a lot louder and stuff. If I had to choose between the two of them, I'm probably more of a sleepy drunk, but not. I don't know if I necessarily would classify myself that way either. Fair enough, Dio. Yeah, I couldn't really drink at the wedding at all, but I should be back to normal soon with my weird health stuff. And now that I get the meds, I'm almost on the meds, and so far so good, feeling fine. So. There has to be drunk. You mean more drunks than that? You mean for the options? Remember drunk at any part of Brad's wedding this spring? No, I wasn't. I wasn't able to drink. I've had I've talked about in the stream a few times, but I've had this like recurring health thing that I finally was able to get to a doctor about, and I have meds that I'm almost done with, and I think it's cleared up. But it was like an inflammation in my chest, and during the bachelor party that weekend, I was drinking, but then I had maybe 2 beers, and then I started to feel the pain in my chest kick up again, and I didn't want to take a chance of making it worse by drinking because it's kind of inflammatory. So I put the kibosh on that and did not get to partake in the open bar at any point or the toonie bar at any point at that wedding, unfortunately. You know what, Annika? I am not surprised to hear you're a giggle drunk. I did dance as if I was drunk. That is true, Dio. My laugh probably also gets louder when I get drunk, Brett. We'll see, Mark. We'll see. Maybe one day. Like giggle and dance drunk. I'm a chair dancer. I'll do a lot of, but I won't get up on my feet. You know, when I'm drunk. You're a deep talk drunk, cat. So I mean, just kind of, you lean in, and you're just like, hey, I'm gonna tell you what I think. Is that the kind of drunk you're talking about, cat? I've had those moments as a drunk as well. I went to Cuba for a wedding a few years ago, and I was in the wedding party and split a room with someone else from the wedding party, from the brother of the bride, and I came back from like partying with everybody else one night, pretty shit faced. Was going on a trip the next morning as well, like a day trip somewhere. So I was supposed to get up early, and I knew it, but I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. And I woke the guy up when I like stumbled in, and then lied there talking his ear off about movies and shit. Not deep talk, but still like lots of talk. And he was just like, he was being super polite and cool about it, but in his mind, he admitted later that it was just like, Dylan, go to sleep for the love of God. And the next day, he was calling me, it's like, you just had so much energy, I don't know what the hell you were up with. Yeah, it was fun. Okay, yeah, I could see that, Cat. I could see you getting into that, especially drunk. Here's the weird thing about when we went to Cuba. Um, there might be there might be videos around of me dancing in that kilt. um, but so Cuba, that wedding was actually supposed to be in Mexico, and then swine flu broke out, and they started canceling flights into Mexico, and started canceling flights out of Mexico. And my parents were actually supposed to go to that wedding as well, because the the guy that was getting married, one of my oldest friends. My parents have known him since he was a baby, so they were going to be there as well. But they had gone to Mexico early to visit another relative that was down there, and then they had to fly back when that happened, and our trip got moved to Cuba instead. But the really weird thing, there was a waitress at a pub in Coquitlam that was gonna go to Mexico to get married the same week that I was gonna go to Mexico for my friend's wedding, and they also got redirected to Cuba. And then our wedding ended up getting canceled or postponed because the bride was having allergic reactions to the um, mosquitoes down there. And apparently, the other girl that got redirected there, her wedding was canceled because we booked the space sooner than when our bride got sick. The opportunity opened up again, and they ended up getting our spot. So it was like a really weird coincidence that I bumped into her again. It wasn't anybody that I knew really well, but I like had met her that one time. Weird coincidences. Just to see me dance, Cat. I was wearing I was wearing a kilt. Flower till. I was wearing a kilt. The whole wedding party was wearing kilts for the wedding, so we were doing like an Irish jig and shit. And I don't know the Russian one, Cat, where you're like get your arms crossed and you're down low, kicking the feet up. Is that what you would want me to attempt at the wedding? I don't know if I have quite the core strength for that, but I can work on it. We'll see. We'll see. Have me vent in? Still don't know what all the cybernetic shit is on this staff, but whatever, we're going with it. Because the toy I had as a kid had it. I don't know if the comic ever had it. Let alone this version of the comic. As a little flower girl is in particular. He's got like gems or some shit on his knees. I don't know why. You think I'm little? I don't think I've ever been called a little anything, cat. But okay. Yeah, but I don't know if the cybernetic part is part of that or not. Because if you actually, I mean, going by the toy I had and my memory of it, is it wasn't segmented in a way that made sense to be retractable. I have drawn. So I was talking about this earlier, actually. So I'm kind of working towards doing the whole '90s X-Men lineup from the cartoon in their classic outfits. But I'm kind of building up to it by doing kind of like alt versions of each one. So I did Wolverine as Weapon X. I did Storm in her kind of all leather mohawk version from the 80s. And I did Rogue in her Savage Land outfit. So now here's Gambit in this kind of weird scarf wearing phase that he had for a little while. And next is probably going to be Jean Grey as Phoenix. And then I haven't figured out Cyclops yet. And then I'll have to do Beast. I might do the non-hairy Beast for that one because that's alternate. And then I guess I got to figure out Jubilee. And then I'll have the whole team. I'll probably skip Professor X because he pretty much just looked the same the entire time. But oh, did we get a bot show up? I want to offer no spamming, spam bot. Also too, like, unless it's a joke, like that's not Danica, is it? It's got Danny hidden in there. But like, if you're trying to pass yourself on as a real person, why would you put perv at the start of your name? Like, how's that gonna help anybody? I'm working on that, cat. Believe it or not, I am working on that. I am definitely much taller when I stand up straight. I am actually 6'4" and a little bit of change. It's not always easy for tall people to maintain solid posture, especially when you're a tall person who likes to draw and spends a lot of time at drawing tables and computer screens, but especially during formative years as well. But I am working on it. I got a back roller and stuff. I'll definitely do Nightcrawler, Brad. It just won't be part of that like team building because I'm gonna stick to that '90s lineup. Let's get backpacks to help. Which is the measuring system you're referring to, Kat? Okay. Okay. Sure. I meant because you were referring to a measuring system, I think, already. We have metric in Canada, but we all, in reality, we kind of all just do like a hodgepodge or whatever we're feeling in our hearts in that moment, I feel like. Well, Dio here is actually from the States, Cat. So just to put that out there. Sorry, Dio. Sorry. Do you have an Uber story from California you want to share, Annika? Okay, Brad. Have a good night. Hopefully, I'll see you around the school soon. Hopefully, things are working at the school soon. I'm not gonna lie, Mark. Uh, I'm kind of digging the music that you grabbed for us here. It's pretty. Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna be listening to it on the bus tomorrow or anything, but background stream music, not bad, not bad. Hasn't been too offensive, like some stuff that tends to show up sometimes in the other playlists. Yeah, what the hell? What is even a stream if we don't have random Christmas music start playing out of nowhere? Just dense traffic, you mean, Dio? But all of them drivers. Waiting with bated breath here, cat. Oh, wait a minute, wait a minute. Is this what I think it is? I can't tell. I thought you were maybe starting to do the lyrics to that Mariah Carey song at first. But now the delete the Christmas tree thing, I'm not so sure. Oops. Oops. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know the song well enough. Maybe that delete line's in there. You could have had me fooled. But you stopped adding for a little bit, so then I kind of second guessed myself. I agree. I'm actually gonna try to do that in the new year before I get too intense on another project. I got playing catch up a bit with coloring some of these drawings and stuff right now, but that is on my list to do that soon, Annika. Among some other bells and whistles. Um, I mean, that's cool. By the way, here's an Uber story I heard somebody on a podcast tell one time. So she's in an Uber going home, and then the car gets pulled over by a cop, and the cop says to the driver, like, "Are you aware that you're wanted right now?" And the driver's like, "Yes." And then the cop says something, and so like this girl's in the backseat of the car, being like, "What the fuck? This guy's wanted for something," and but they never mention what they're wanted for. And then the cop says, "I'll let you drive your person home, but just so you know, the next person that sees you probably isn't gonna like be as chill about it as I am." And then meanwhile, she's freaking out. She's like, "No, I can really get out. I can just walk home." And the cop's like, "No, no, no, it's cool. You can take you home." And she's like, "No, I don't want him to take me home. What the fuck?" And then like I guess everything worked out okay. I mean, she's lived to tell the story, but it's like, and maybe I'm gonna assume I'll give the cop the benefit of the doubt that maybe the guy was wanted for something fairly tame, but you're not telling this person in the car what it is. So why would you tell them, "Oh yeah, this guy's wanted for something, but it's cool. Let him drive you home and find out where you live"? Why would you do that? Um, Laugh or Lose, Bother Dylan edition. What? Imagine if 2/3 of your country's population lived in one city. That's LA. That is a lot. That is a lot. I was in a 7-Eleven downtown one time a while ago, and there was like, I don't know if he's a tourist or if he had just moved, but he was freaking out because of the crowd outside. He was like, "How do you do this? How do you live like this?" I think the crowd was more intense though, because I think there was like a nearby school that had just let out, and everybody was there in that moment. But it was kind of funny to see him as panicked as he was. But I did understand where he was coming from. They're all going to drown soon. Oh, in California, I mean, predicting the big earthquake they've been threatening for years. All right, let's start doing these spot blacks here. There's also that, yeah. There's actually a movie from, I've never seen it, I'm just aware of it, from, it's like a B movie, like an action movie from the 50s called Highway Dragnet, I think it's called. And it was actually, the whole thing was about these thugs hiding out in a house in Southern California that had been abandoned because of the flood, because the Salton Sea was rising. And that was the 50s. Or maybe 60s. But even the 60s is still old enough. B movie? What brought that up? Just general love for B movie? I actually personally think the B movie is kind of underrated, to be honest. I'm also a Jerry Seinfeld fan, mind you, but oh right, thanks. It was a thinker, but I got there. With your help, of course. Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. I just didn't put it together fast enough. There's like white noise on this track. It's like cutting in and out. Are you guys hearing that? It's weird, right? Well, that almost sounds like wind, so maybe they're trying to go for some ambient vibes with it. I don't know. Yeah. By the way, we have more people in the chat now, so everybody say happy birthday, Billy. Also, just noticed I didn't ink the sole of that one shoe. My God. He's gonna be walking in circles. Billy, as in, my name shall be Billy. You guys don't know him, but he's in the chat. Pretty regular viewer of the Outhouse stream. And another VFS grab, by the way. Of foundation and 3D animation. Just disconnecting. Graduated quite a while ago, actually. Not that the congrats isn't still worthwhile. Why not? A secret of success? I don't know if I've figured that one out yet myself, Kat, if I'm being completely honest. Oh, wait a minute. I'll throw a really cheesy one that is kind of true, though. Is, just not giving up. It's not an easy nut to crack sometimes. And it can be easy to get discouraged, but it doesn't mean that's not going to happen. Not everyone walks into a gig the moment they finish school. Thanks, Kat. We might need to bust out a new Sharpie. Where's my... This is the part where I remind Sharpie that if you want to start sponsoring the stream, I'm definitely open to talking about it. New Sharpies are pretty satisfying, I gotta say. I've secretly been Banksy this whole time. How'd you find me out? It's the eyes. Have you seen Banksy's eyes? Or I just look like the eyes of a secret graffiti artist. Okay, we're almost done here, but we are gonna. Where is it? Is this one? What's the fuck one? I got two brushes going, and one of them's got kind of a fucky end. The other one's pretty decent, but let's hope. I think this is the good one. There we go. Think he looks head empty? Think I look head empty? Like I have nothing in my going on up there? I don't know if we're still complimenting me or not. I don't know how to take these things. Wow. Alright. This is positive. Huh. Okay. But all right, we're gonna wrap this one up, guys. We're gonna throw a scribble shadow under him for good measure. And then we'll sign it. There we go. There's Gambit from his short-lived, I think, 90s era scarf. Maybe it was 2000s. I can't remember. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Annika. Thank you, Billy. So thanks for watching, everybody. As usual. Thanks, Dio. And have a good night and all that stuff. Back Thursday, usual time. And thank you, Kat. And maybe I'll see you next time. So, but have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.